do you eat the meat by itself, or is it like with rice?
Rice or like tortilla. Hi guys, I'm Christina Sundari, and this is Nicole Moreno-Deinzer.
Hello everyone.
I hope you guys are really enjoying these videos. We really love doing the videos together.
We have such a blast getting together, guys, and that's probably why we're always like laughing in our videos, because we just enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, we love hanging out with each other. We love eating together.
Yeah.
Check out these amazing Indian nachos. We're going to be talking about culture and our experiences growing up in the United States as an Indian woman and as a Latin woman.
As a Latin woman, Mexican American.
It's not even coming off the plate. I swear it's real. It's not like plastic.
It is real. And she made it.
What do you guys think of our outfits? I got mine from Sea Bazaar, which is actually this online Indian boutique. So I'm doing this collab with them. So it's not really a traditional Indian outfit. It's more like a dress.
I like it a lot.
Thanks. I know. I really like it a lot too. I wasn't sure about how I felt about it in the beginning. And then I want to talk about my jewelry too. So I'm doing a collab with Avia Collections. And so I've got like this really cute little waist chain. I've got this really pretty ring and this little bracelet and this really pretty necklace. So
I love it.
I feel so Indian, but I feel so modern too.
Yeah, I like your outfit a lot. All right.
Thanks.
So my outfit, I'll get up. You guys could just see like the print, because I love the print here. So actually this dress, my parents got at an auction, and it was made by a woman in Guatemala. So they got me 2 dresses from Guatemala.
It's really cute.
And thank you. I really enjoy this dress a lot. And I love like handmade stuff. And then my jewelry, except this, is all from Mexico too.
Don't forget to subscribe by hitting the red button down below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like it, and then don't forget to hit the bell to get email notifications every time I post a new video.
So we wanted to discuss this because we both sort of grew up like similar, where we were proud of our culture, but because we weren't like the stereotypes of our culture, we maybe got some backlash from within our community and outside of our community. So that balance of being, you know, your ethnicity versus being like American, and that fine line, like you can't be too Americanized.
Nicole and I both had our own share of, you know, trials and tribulations growing up in the United States, just kind of being Latin and being Indian.
Because I think what came up, what we discussed this video, is we've both been called like coconut.
I got called almond the other day.
Almond?
Yeah, I was like, dude, almond?
Well, that's creative. Woo-woo!
He's a really creative person.
Yeah. And on one hand, we can laugh about it, but on the other hand, you know, sometimes we were called those words when we were quite young, and we were just like, well, what is that? What are you trying to say? Like, I'm not, am I fake? Like, do you think I mean like a fake Mexican? I don't know if you felt that way, like if people thought you were being like a fake Indian.
So I have a huge family. My family all pretty much still lives in India. My mom has 11 brothers and sisters. So I've got a huge family. I have tons of cousins. I have tons of nieces and nephews. It's just endless. I'm sure you can relate to that.
Yes.
But every time I go back to India, ever since I was a small kid, every time I would go there and I would try to assimilate myself with the rest of the family, I would always feel like a sore thumb. And I know a little bit of my native language, not much, but I know enough to be able to like say hello or whatever. So our language is Tamil, right? So I would learn a little bit, you know, just to be able to talk to, you know, my grandparents or to talk to my, you know, uncles, aunts. There would always be giggles. There would always be somebody, you know, saying, oh, she has such an American accent. It's not my fault that I don't know language. I just didn't grow up learning it. And
it's also not your fault that your parents moved to America. Like, you had no say.
Yeah, when I was in the womb, I could have just like written a note to my mom, hey,
like,
can we please be cultured?
I would get called coconut a lot of times from people like outside our community, and even within the community, just because everything I like to do was too like white. You know, I liked like yearbook and leadership and all that stuff, and I was always too Americanized. But then you hang out like with white people, and then they think you're really exotic.
In high school, that's what everybody would say about me, like, oh, you're so exotic. And in the beginning, I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. I like to be exotic. And then after a while, I thought, are you just saying that because I'm not white?
Actually, these nachos are pretty good, and they're not that spicy.
Ooh, good.
I know. One of the things that I get like shit on because I'm not Mexican enough is I have a really low tolerance of spice. And this chick loves things spicy.
Isn't it funny the Indian chick is eating the tapatio and not the Mexican chick? It's not funny.
Yeah, well, also, like, you grew up in California, so it's like, I think by default, everyone's like a little Mexican growing up here.
I would agree with that. Yeah. How can you not do this to your food? I mean, like, I don't think I have taste buds anymore because I put so much hot sauce in everything.
Probably not. I knew from a very young age that I wasn't the stereotypical Mexican child. I grew up about 2 hours south of San Francisco in a medium-sized town, so Gilroy, California. And back then, it was very you're either Mexican or you're white. There's like maybe one black family and like one Asian family. It has diverse since then, but it was very still like you're white or you're Mexican. First, second grade is when I realized I wasn't like a Mexican because all my other friends' parents spoke Spanish at home. They just got here. Maybe some of them were born here, like my friends were born here, or maybe they came with their parents legally, illegally, to each their own. All the kids that looked like me had to go to the ESL class because they had to learn English because I spoke English at home. So at such a young age already, I felt like maybe I'm not like all the other Mexicans because I'm in this English speaking class. However, it's like, isn't that like the dream for like immigrant parents when they come into the U.S. to make sure that their kids really Americanized? And it's just, I don't know, at a young age, I felt sort of like always in between.
When we grew up, we also didn't learn our native language, which is Tamil. And I didn't think about it too much. Honestly, when I would look in the mirror, I would see a white person. I didn't even think that I was Indian. And I went to an elementary school that was very diverse. We had everyone. We had Latin kids, we had black kids. I think my sister and I were probably the only Indian kids there.
Yeah.
But, and then
so
of course
we grew up about like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from one another.
Yeah. I grew up in Pinole, California. This goes out to all my P-Town homies out there.
Oh my God.
I never got teased for being brown. I never got, I never felt different from the rest of my class. My parents always taught us to be open-minded and to always treat everyone with respect. And so I never saw myself as different from them, and I never saw them different from me. I don't know. I always felt very comfortable kind of around all kinds of cultures. But as far as like my own, I would feel the most uncomfortable when I would go back to India and I would see my family there, because that's when I truly felt, oh, I'm not Indian really, because I can't relate to them. They all speak the language, they all wear the clothing. And even though we would go to India and, we would wear the traditional clothing, and I love Indian food. I really do. I mean, you guys saw how much hot sauce I put on my nachos. I love spicy food. Mm-hmm. My sisters and I were the only ones that were born and raised in the United States. Everybody else was India.
You guys also all have very like American names.
Yeah. So I'm Christina, right? My younger sister is Rachel, and then my youngest sister is Nasa, which is kind of like the most Indian-ish name, but it's still not Indian by any means.
Yeah.
And I remember growing up almost kind of mad at my parents that we didn't know the language, and I almost felt like they were hiding our culture from us. I understood why they didn't teach us Tamil, and it was because they didn't want us to get confused between the languages. They didn't want us to go to school with an accent. They didn't want us to have trouble learning English, and they wanted us to be able to keep up with the rest of the students. I mean, there were maybe like 5 Indians at my high school, and I was always doing different stuff, like I wrote for the student newspaper, and then I reported on our school's TV station. I was kind of doing stuff that was a little different anyway, but I still didn't feel like, oh, I'm not Indian. I just felt like, oh, I'm like everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm cool. I love who we are,
yeah.
And I feel like it took me so many years to really be comfortable with the fact that, I'm not like your traditional Indian kid.
Like a lot of times when people see Indian, they think they just speak Hindi.
Mm-hmm.
So was that also something that you felt like you weren't really Indian because you didn't even speak your language, but you also didn't
the national language?
Yeah.
I think I struggled the most with that in college, because that's when I really first started hanging out with Indians a lot. And that's when I started realizing, oh, I'm really not Indian. I'm really, really whitewashed. And it was always from other Indians saying like, oh, you're so white.
I got that too from other Mexicans in high school and in college. Mm-hmm. Less in college, but mainly in high school stuff. Other Mexicans saying I was really white. And it was always like a negative, because it was in their mind. I thought it was so weird. In their mind, to be like Mexican, I had to speak with an accent. Mm-hmm. And I should be like really like want to be with another Mexican, and like almost like wear like hoop earrings, and just sort of like this really weird like negative stereotype. And that was something like sort of frustrating me, at least in my experience, is I felt like people that were telling me that I was too white, their thought of someone being Mexican or someone Latin was such a negative image.
I love to dance. That's like one thing about me that actually is very Indian. Mm-hmm. There's this type of music called Bhangra, and literally every time a Bhangra song comes on, like I don't know what happens to me. It's like in my blood, I swear. Like I just want to get.
You were a gypsy. in a previous life.
I think I was a dancer in my previous life.
Mm-hmm.
Every time that music comes on, it's just like,
yeah.
All right.
If I hear like bachata music coming on, I'm like, I have to
Ooh.
move. I have to move right now.
Do you do salsa?
I don't, but I can't. It's pretty like easy
I think
to
it's
pick
pretty
up.
easy, yeah, because I kind of know it. I actually did take a salsa class one time, and the guy that I went with, it was so bad. I've been dancing for a very long time, so the instructor teaches us the moves, right? And then I'm just doing my thing.
Was it a boyfriend or did you just go on a date?
He was my boyfriend. So I'm leading the entire time. The teacher literally had to keep stopping me, and he was like, "Señorita, you need to let the guy lead." And I was like, "Oh, how?" He's a bad dancer.
Maybe that's a big life lesson for you.
You better know how to dance. That's all I gotta say. Or else I will.
Yeah.
I'll just dominate you.
Yeah. Or I'll just be like, I'm gonna find another dance partner here.
Sit your ass down.
Yeah. It took me, like I was telling her earlier, like before we started filming, till I was like in my mid-20s, because I had to make an effort to actually go out and seek like professional Latino groups to find other professional Latinos that like have the same interests as me, went to college, and now I can say like I have a lot of successful Latino friends. I didn't feel comfortable being the type of Mexican I was until like 25. I
took Spanish in high school, right? And I remember in class, this is how white my high school was. Nobody used a Spanish accent when we would speak in Spanish. I'd be like, voy a la escuela. But then that's how everybody spoke. So if you said, voy a la escuela, like if you said it like the right way, then everyone would be like, psh, loser. You're not going to get to Stanford with that pitiful accent. Yeah. That was my upbringing, right? Yeah. So then just kind of going into college, with that, it was just like really interesting. I wouldn't say I got really comfortable with who I am as, an Americanized Indian until like probably within the last year, to be totally honest. I would get a lot of complaints like, oh, well, you're so Americanized, you should have just married a white guy and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. I think if I were to get married at this age right now, because I'm comfortable being the type of Mexican I am, and I also know there's other professional Latino men out there, there's a good chance I'll probably end up with a Latin guy. Just when I was younger, though, it was hard for me to be with a Latin guy because I felt like their family would judge me so much for not being married. And I was like, I can't deal with that stress. But if I go with the white family, I have to deal with 4 family members, and they all think I'm exotic. So cool. That is so interesting that you say that, because I wish that I had known that before I got married. I'm being dead serious, because when I got married,
I'm surprised you didn't marry a white dude. Your town is just filled with I don't know, Bobs and Sean's and Jared's, a bunch of white dudes.
I'm kind of surprised too. I think a lot of people were surprised when I ended up with an Indian guy.
We didn't grow up in houses similar to you. We didn't grow up in a household where it's like, you're a girl, your job is just to maybe finish high school and then get like a part-time job and then have kids. My dad was very he wanted his daughters to be independent. He didn't want them to rely on like a man.
I would say the same with my family. My dad raised all 3 of his daughters to be very independent, and I would say all 3 of us are very independent. We all do our own thing. I mean, both my sisters are in school to be, well, one of them's a doctor already, but the other one's in school to be a doctor. And then I have my career, and I think that's so valuable. Mm-hmm. And it's really difficult in our cultures, I would say, to really be independent and be yourself, because a lot of those old stigmas are that a woman is supposed to be supporting the man. She's supposed to be like his, almost like a shadow. A woman's job is to help the guy out with whatever he needs. And a lot of people still believe in that. And that is one thing that I think is really challenging about being American and then kind of living as an Indian woman, is fighting that stereotype. Like, oh, she still lives like she's single. All she does is work.
That's rude.
Like, that is rude. Like, I live in the Bay Area. I've always prided myself on my career. It's always something that I worked very hard on, and it's something that I would never trade for anything. I will be working until I'm probably in my grave.
You like to have your own career, your independence. It's your identity.
It's your identity. Yeah, exactly. And you never want to rely on somebody else to be taking care of you all the time.
Like you mentioned, there's still a lot of that stigma. And even if that stigma isn't in your immediate family or even in your extended family, it's sometimes out there in the world. I feel like as women of color in the United States, and we're both pretty Americanized, is that we're almost in a way fighting 2 battles constantly.
I've always felt like that. you've got one foot in the American world where women can pretty much do whatever they want. You know, we can do exactly the same stuff as men. You know, we can get paid the same amount as men. I mean, I know that's not always the case, but we can go for the same things that men go for. And then we've got one foot in this world of our culture where the expectations of a woman is very different, where you raise the family, you take care of the home, and your job is to really just support and care for your family. And I think that times are changing a little bit. I think that there is a lot of, you know, like women and men like can both work, and they both take care of each other, and they both take care of the household chores, and they both raise the kids. Like, I think that that is happening. And I think because we live in San Francisco also, where it is a very innovative city, and I think that it's more open to that. That's not to say that that's the case in other parts of the United States.
But part of me has always liked the fact that I am a person of color, but I am pretty Americanized, because in a way there's been a lot of experiences I have where I'm the one that's like opening the door or building that bridge. Because there's been a lot of times where I sat on like boards, or I've been part of meetings, and I'm the only one that looks like me, but I don't come off as like a threat or too different because I don't speak with an accent.
I think it absolutely does. And I love that you mentioned that, because me working in tech, I was always in either sales or marketing, and all of the Indians would usually be in engineering. And it definitely worked for me. Because engineering doesn't like to talk to anybody that's not in engineering. But then you have me, who's like this, you know, Indian, like bubbly American, right? I would just walk into their desk and be like, hey, I have this question. And, you know, they would always stop to talk to me. So I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And even in meetings, too, where you're trying to make a connection between two different organizations, I feel like because, like, I'm Indian, it got the engineers to respect me and listen to me. But because I'm so modern and Americanized, I was able to get my sales team to kind of, like, rely on me to be that bridge.
In 2018, 30, going to be 31. Do you feel at this point in your life that you are Indian American, or do you just feel like you're still figuring out your Indian identity?
I'm very proud to say that I'm Indian American. And it took me a very long time to really become comfortable with the kind of Indian that I am. And I don't know the language. No, I don't. I do know enough about my culture, though. I feel like a very unique Indian, I guess. And I think that there's a spectrum. I don't think there's you're Indian or you're not. There are different things about the Indian culture that make me Indian. And for the longest time, I really didn't understand what culture really meant. But now I know that culture is what you make of it. It's completely up to you. Yeah, I really believe that. Culture is on you. There's no general definition of what culture is, and there's no checklist of the criteria that need to be met to make you Indian or to make you Mexican. It's what is important to you. And for me, like, and I even say the same thing about religion. We were both born Catholic. But for me, nowadays, I mean, I'm really more spiritual than anything else. And I truly believe in just being a good person, doing the right thing.
I do feel very comfortable being Mexican American. I do feel very comfortable being Latina. I don't like the word Hispanic so much, but if you say I'm Hispanic, I won't be offended whatsoever. But
I used to always wonder about that.
Yeah. It's
like, what's the preferred term? Like, if it's Latin or if it's Hispanic.
Everyone has their preference. It took me, I would have been comfortable being Latina, being proud of the type of Latina I am for like a few years now. And I'm so excited at this point. I'm excited that I'm part of different Latina organizations, and that really successful Latina and Latinos see me as Latino and Latina. Like, it just really, to me, that means a lot. I think that validation that other people are seeing me the way I see myself. And I know, like, you have to find it within yourself. I love it. She has her hot sauce like saved from like the corner of my eye. It's so funny.
I just can't help it.
And to me, this is already like a little spicy. Like,
are you serious?
Yeah.
Why did you say something?
No, I can eat it. It's not like burning, but I feel like my cheeks are getting red. But yeah.
Oh, they are a little red.
Yeah, they are. They're a little red, guys.
You're an inspiration.
Aw.
Did you guys know she actually went to go speak at her high school?
Yeah.
Because she is so successful, and she really is like a role model for a lot of people. I mean,
Thank you. Oh, honey, thank you.
I mean it too.
Aw.
Because, like, I mean, I don't know, just like hearing, like, you know, stuff that you went through in high school and elementary school. I mean, like, you had to overcome a lot of challenges.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
And it's like very apparent. And I can look at her now. I mean, she runs a magazine. She has her MBA. I mean, this is an example of a very successful Latina.
Thank you.
I'm proud to call you my friend.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that means a lot. Yeah, I got to go speak in my old high school, and I strongly suggest, I told her and our little friends in our tribe that, you know, you guys could all speak, like, speak at, like, local high schools. They're always looking for speakers. It's a wonderful way to, like, volunteer. They're still in high school. They're freaking lost. They don't know what they're doing in their lives.
Yeah.
And think about it, now every relationship, date, breakup is on social media. So I think they just need constant, like, examples of different ways people can live their lives. Because we're both still women of color, we've had similar experiences, like, with racism.
I was in the car and I was driving back to work. So I was on my lunch break. I think I went to like the post office and then I was driving back to the office. And I was trying to merge into the left turn lane, but there was this jerk driving right next to me who like wouldn't let me merge. And I ended up being right next to him. He rolls his window down and he's like yelling at me and he's like, "You Indian, go back to wherever you came from." He was like saying all this stuff. And I was just kind of like shocked more than anything. Yeah. I would say that was the first time a stranger had treated me that way. And I went home and I told my mom, and my mom got so mad. She was like, "Well, I hope you yelled at him." And I said, "I just said go get a real job," and I rolled my window back up.
Yeah.
He was like all dressed all nasty. He was like missing teeth. I was like, you know, this looks like a hobo freaking driving around Burlingame.
Okay. Why? Did he steal a car?
I was really shocked. I mean, I was just kind of like,
you're sort of just
you tripping.
Back.
Do you not know who I am?
No. Do you not see my Instagram? Do you not know my YouTube channel? So my story is like actually a few years back, and I was at a coffee shop. So I was at Starbucks with a friend. So I was smoking outside on the patio. Both my friend and I were both of Latin descent, and we just did not see the sign. We weren't trying to be mean or anything because we didn't see the sign that said no smoking. We just were young. We thought we could smoke outside in the patio. So this other customer, this like grumpy old white dude that looked almost homeless too, but apparently he had enough to buy coffee, yelled at us and told us to like go back to where we came from. Called us like a spick and there's just very nasty names. Yeah, and I was just like, so for me, I was so young and I was so like hurt. I like almost cried because I was just like, it's like, why are you so mean to me? And so luckily the staff at Starbucks, they were like actually really nice. They came out to like our rescue and they were just like told the guy to leave.
We're raised to believe that we live in this amazing society and that we're Americanized and we have all these opportunities. And for someone to like say something like that to you, it's like, you know, like, dude, you don't know me. I have such an issue with people who think that they have the right to tell people things.
Yeah, me too. I almost went off on this woman like last month, but she was just trying to tell me not to buy the certain yogurt I was buying. Like, she wanted me to buy other yogurt. I was at the grocery store, right? And I'm like, but my thought was like, how dare you tell me what kind of yogurt to buy? I don't know you, so back up.
Do not know who we are.
We fancy here. So.
Yeah. Well, that's all we have for you guys today. So thank you so much for tuning in. We could have gone a number of different directions with today's topic, but for the sake of today, we really wanted to just kind of keep it light. And we wanted to share some examples with you that are very real and that we've experienced over the course of our lives. So we hope that it was helpful for you guys. And as always, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that already and give this video a big fat thumbs up. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining, and we will see you next time.
Bye. You want to do some photos?
Sure.
We have a deal. My son and her daughter are gonna like have adult play dates.
Hey, are they supposed to have a kid together too?
I think that would be super cute.
They're having a kid also? And then he was like, yeah, it's a Nicole thing. I was like, what? He's like, no, I thought that they were gonna have a kid together so that you guys can be family.
We did not mention that all our kids are gonna get married. We just want them to have adult play dates, have an illegitimate child.
And illegitimate?
So that way we can have a really cute like holiday photo.
My daughter marries some other guy, and then your son marries some other chick, and then there's like this random kid. And
I'll make sure I'll treat my future daughter-in-law like shit.
You're gonna be like those mother-in-laws on those like Latin soap operas. Like overlined lipstick and, you know, like curly hair and like all blinged out.